Hello and welcome back to Everybody Loves Raiken, our 5th edition live play that meets on Tuesday nights. Last time we met, the party completed their battle against the vicious merfolk who were attacking their soldiers. They managed to revive the 3 soldiers who fell. Sadly, they did get focused down by the creatures, and after the monsters were defeated, and the sea creatures that Laramendus had summoned using the staff continued to keep the waters around the end of the peninsula here safe from more attacks. They were addressed by a familiar voice, that of Dusty, of the Platinum Sentinels, and his assistant Kazanari. And so the party came to speak with him and began to learn of what this merfolk attack meant and why it had occurred, finding that these members of the Platinum Sentinels had spent the last while, as they promised, with the Tritons, trying to convince them to help in this endeavor against the dragons, and that this attack was part test of the loyalty of Dusty and Kazanari, part test of the training of the army, and part spite, as the army was supposed to have abandoned the island today, but they had not. So we rejoin in the midst of this conversation between the party and Dusty and Kazanari. For the druid, Jebel, as you approach, you're going to see this crab, one of the creatures that was summoned by Laramendus' magic item, is kind of pacing back and forth in the sand between Lair and the Dragonborn, and clacking its small pincers threateningly. And as you are capable of understanding animals innately as a druid, you can hear it kind of daring them to come closer and threaten its summoner.
It's a crab.
The crab, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
It definitely is not behaving like any crab you might see at the beach, which would scurry away from land dwellers and back into the water. It choosing to stay near Laramendus and seemingly attempt to defend him. Very odd.
And I know what Laramendus summoned it.
You're aware that he used this staff, pointed it at the water, and issued a command, and then a bunch of sea creatures appeared and started fighting very unnaturally. So, yes, it's a very short logical leap to say that.
I'm there. Laramendus is there.
Yep.
I will look at Laramendus, point at the crab, and say, "What's the deal with this?"
The staff allows me to control aquatic creatures, small aquatic creatures, for a short amount of time. I think this was one of the ones that answered its call, and Laramendus will, raise the staff a little bit.
It's going
Which
to...
I assume looks like Aquaman's trident.
You're going to see, the crab's eye stalk sort of twist, and it, brings the staff into view, and you're going to hear it say, "Orders? Orders?"
I think I don't hear that.
No, you don't hear that. The druid hears that.
I can give them commands telepathically, but it doesn't go the other way.
No,
So
their intelligence isn't high enough.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Jibble says.
It's nothing more than a minor charm effect. Would you like me to tell the crab to go about its normal business?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a crab.
Laramendus will order, I guess all of the creatures that are under the command of the staff to go about their normal business.
Okay. You do so. The crab is going to stop pacing.
So, that all that stuff does?
Yes.
Not going to be terribly useful when we're not on the ocean.
It will not. I think that Laramentis will hold up the hand with the ring and say, "This, however, will be extremely useful. It creates walls of force." Cool.
What's the limit on that? Like, how many?
I, the player, am pulling up the item. It has 10 charges. Each charge can create one 30-foot by 30-foot wall of force. And I think you can spend any number of charges as part of the action and put them wherever within range of a normal wall of force spell, which is...
Yes, but they don't need to be contiguous.
Right.
Each individual charge is an individually placed wall, and each individual segment is much larger than a normal wall of force panel, which is 10 by 10, but it's not sub-sectionable, so you just get a straight 30 by 30 panel.
Yeah.
So you can just box people in. That's awesome. Does it recharge?
Daily.
It's, D8 plus 2 daily.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I do think somebody other than myself should be in possession of the ring, since I can already cast Wall of Force, and it can be useful to have that a bit more distributed.
Dusty's gonna clear his throat, kind of reasserting himself into the discussion, and say, "So, you've made a decision, then?" And allows the implication to hang in the air.
I think, given where we are, Laramentis would look at Yukikaze to answer that question. But if he does
That's
not...
unfair.
Decision in what sense of the word?
The last time we talked, your group was debating whether or not you would be fighting Tiamat to protect all future generations, or simply defeating her children.
Well, as you can see the state of the army, fighting merfolk, it adds to the support of just fighting the children and sealing them. That was our decision.
Good. I'm personally glad to hear it. It's not a decision, of course, to be made lightly, and it's not a decision for people who have had their chance to change the world to make.
Yes, well, it was also in the sense that there was too many unknowns and we couldn't figure out any solid evidence that would make fighting Tiamat reasonable without great losses on our side and great destruction to the world once she arrives.
And how does General Tatsuya feel about this?
We're on the bond real quick, so lightning speed thought. We're just gonna divulge everything to him, aren't we?
At the very least, it seems reasonable to inform him that General Tatsuya is no longer in charge of the army.
Fair enough.
You can all make... what's your passive perceptions?
I only have 10.
16.
I am not that easy at hiding things. Or no, passive
Perception. How good are you at noticing things? What's your wisdom?
Mine is, of course, 29.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking fucking ridiculous. Minus 21.
I was actually wondering how much he knew about Tatsuya's army.
Those with 15 and up are going to notice there is a glint in Dusty's eye and a particular twitch to his expression as he asks this, like he knows that he's asking a question he will enjoy hearing your answer to.
I think perhaps something along the lines of General Tatsuya was called away to other duties. And
Long story
I'm going to
Probably
just...
just tell him the same lie that we told the army that
But
he was
before
pulled
anyone
away by
asks,
Bahamut.
before I want to turn to him and say, what's Coffer's name? It's
Thess. Rialan Thess.
Rialan Thess. I'm going to say, do you know Rialan Thess?
He blinks at the question and says, "That's not a name I recognize." He as he often does, he turns to Kazanari, and you see she kind of meets his gaze out the corner of her own eye before raising her shoulders slightly in an "I don't know either" shrug.
I don't know them, Kazanari. Do we know them?
That is kind of his modus operandi. If he doesn't know something, he looks at Kazanari. She usually knows. No. What is he to you?
Well, that's the question now. He was... and I'm going to look to learn medicine with a treasurer?
Would he be the treasurer, or would he have been like Tatsuya's or not brother of Endar? I can't
Thandros.
remember. Thandros. Would he have been Thandros' secretary? Or Tatsuya's secretary?
He wasn't anyone's secretary. He was a ranked officer. He was a captain, but his particular job with the army was logistics and bookkeeping.
Okay.
So one could argue rather insultingly that he was Tatsuya's secretary, but he very clearly, in the short time that you knew him, did not view himself that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, however you want to present that information.
Laramentus would present it for what his position was in the army, not a slight. If it was just it to the party, he might try and slight him. But
so you tell him that he was a captain in charge of logistics and monetary resources. Says that sounds important to the function of an army. I know that I have a couple people who assist Kazanari in the same regard within our branch of the Platinum Sentinels. One does need to keep their soldiers fed and clothed, keep the weapons sharp. Is there a problem with your logistician?
Well, before this incident with you guys coming and the merfolk, we were investigating his disappearance all of a sudden.
Disappearance?
Yes, it seems like what we know if he's left and has met with someone unbeknownst to us and is well hidden.
before leaving, he obfuscated information that we would like to use for piecing together previous communications around the army.
Well, that's troubling, but I guess it's good that you're on better terms with Tatsuya then, if he's having you do that for him.
No, actually, Tatsuya is not in charge of the army at all anymore. He's not with us at all, and not part of the situation at all.
He was called away to other duties.
It's better to say it that way. Implying the man has died could be dangerous to your purposes. Not
everything that's
with
going on,
us
I just-
anymore is pretty implicative.
I just worded poorly because of everything that's going on and my severe disappointment and the quality of our training and the soldiers has thrown me off a little bit.
I see. Well, perhaps you can tell me then why the army hasn't left, since that had been its plan.
Because we are here, we have very capable magic casters and new means of traveling or transporting the army, allowing them to get there faster with less time and keep them keep their stamina up.
You're not going to be sailing.
We do not have to sail at all, no. And we will still cover the same amount of distance.
I think to Kazanari, like more directly to Kazanari, Clairmendis will say, we intend to use multiple demi-planes and plane shifts to get where we need to go, and march the army through the demi-planes.
You're going to see that her, she's very intrigued by that. Her eyes widen with interest. She says, "That is very powerful magic." Boone, nodding to you in deference to this demonstration of mastery. She will turn so that she's pointed toward Dusty and say, "We will need to inform the Tritons. They'll need a new plan." And Dusty says, "I suppose you're right. Well, we could kick things off a little sooner. I suppose. Your teleportation plan, could it support more than just the army you have to move through it?"
I, the player, do not remember what the number of people properly organized that can get through in 2 hours. Laramendis, the character, knows that number.
Yeah, I think like
so
even
would be able to,
even not remembering all the math, I think that 2 hours is more than enough to move roughly 3,000 people through this spell. Just using regular movement, as long as they're able to march straight through and keep marching forward, they should be able to cover. What is that? 15,000 feet, 5 miles. Yeah.
Since you don't necessarily have to do a single file line, because diagonals also count, if you have to put them in rows of 3, you can get through about 21,600 people over the course of 2 hours, assuming a walking speed of 30 feet, no dashing, and moving like they're in initiative.
So, yeah. Excellent, thank you.
2 demi-planes, the 2 casts of demi-plane connected to the same plane will give a doorway on each side.
Oh. Then,
so you march through from one end of the demi-plane to the other.
And so you have a smaller 8-hour gate for the
That's-
cost of 2 spells.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so you cast a demi-plane with a sorcery point, so the doorway lasts 2 hours. You plane shift from that
2
demi-plane
hours. Sorry.
to
Where you want to be.
where you want to go, and then you
And
cast
with
demi-plane
to the
again
same
go back.
plane.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Okay.
Which
I thought you needed
Laramenus
gate.
can do on his own.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
yes, since
Or
you
we do
can
it
get...
more efficiently with the both of us.
Yeah, since you can get roughly 21,000 people through over the course of 2 hours through these two ends of the demi-plane very easily, there is zero concern about any force he might be asking to add on to yours. It's
So I guess Laramenus will say, if everything... Theoretically, if everyone was as efficient as possible, we could move about 20,000 troops in a span of 2 hours. Given that reality is less than perfect, the number is likely slightly less, but probably not appreciably so.
Would that you had 20,000 troops to muster.
It would make things better.
There is one more potentially relevant thing to remind people of, and that's the doorway does restrict bringing through things that are larger than people. So, like,
Right.
carts and equipment might add on to that if you're needing to make extra trips to bring stuff through.
Right, but a bunch of that had already been figured out by coffers with the expandable carts, what is it called? Minimize?
Reduce.
Reduce. Thank you. Reduce spell. And people carrying the equipment that will go on the cart once you hit the other side. That was one of the things you would come up with him. And the carpenters have been building those. The expandable carts. The retractable carts, if you will. That will be able to get through and then be unfolded on the other side to be able to bear all the items it's supposed to have. So that's already planned for. Point is, you can do this, and you've already worked out with the army how... Well, you've worked out the logistics with yourselves and some of the officers. You haven't actually practiced it with the army. But that's what the next,
Be a good time.
whatever 18 days are for, 14 days are for. That's like forever. Anyway.
I mean, I do suppose with just 2 demi-planes, you could very easily test it on the island.
It's true. You could test it. And it only costs daily resources, and you've got 14 of those.
We should do a dry
That
run.
could be useful.
Just have a bridge that goes from the bivouac to the training area. Have them do that. So, training to get in line file and move there, and then immediately go into regular daily training.
And
Yeah.
just do it something that will actually save them time while we have them actually practicing with the door. That'd be great.
Yeah, and get even more training out of it.
Get training while they're training.
It's true. We heard you like training, so we put some training in your training so you can train while you train.
Efficiency.
I think you're gonna master efficiency here. Anyway. So... if I brought you some soldiers, you could take them to the battlefield.
Yes.
Good. Because as promised, Kazanari and I have been working on the Tritons. They're underwhelmed by the performance today, but I think we can spin that to motivate them to help you. They're already willing, let's say. We just need them to meet the army and agree to everything. So, if Tatsuya isn't going to be the one shaking hands, who do we address them to?
The champion of Bahamut, Laramenus says as he, holds out a hand
I'll give you
towards Hikaze.
I'm gonna give you a look. Yes, please address everything to me.
That is fitting, at least. replace one champion with another champion of the same god for the same cause. As I said before, it's good to see that sense has not abandoned you in our time apart. Give Kazanari and I a couple hours to deal with the Tritons, and maybe use that time to prepare your army for, mingling.
Sounds alright.
It is well that you have draconic allies.
Out of character. Does Dusty know who is here?
Probably not. I don't think Cyrus... It was like, Cyrus wasn't there when you teleported in and fought the Kraken. And he was gone before Cyrus reappeared. And Cyrus, I don't think, had adopted the draconic form at that point.
I think that Laramendas would assume that he's talking
About Doral?
Taurus, though.
Oh, right.
And
She's here. Forgot.
yes, Seltharis' presence here has been very motivating for the army.
What do you mean, Seltharis? Oh, right, Seltharis showed up and started training the army. I've kind of tried to keep her out of things so that I'm not playing too many characters in these scenes.
There are a lot of people to play.
Right. Oh. He looks over toward where Cyrus is, become a halfling again, and says,
Not that one.
Didn't recognize the Guardian of the East, I guess, which is embarrassing.
That is not her.
Oh,
that is our sorcerer.
Yeah, he turned himself into a dragon.
I got Laramendas to do it.
Laramendas turned him into a dragon.
Kazanari just kind of says somewhat quietly, though not quietly enough to not be heard, I told you I didn't recognize that one.
Kazanari, do we recognize that one? No, sir. Very good.
Thank you, Kazanari. I see. And you have the Guardian of the East here. Well, that is fortuitous. 2 dragons will certainly increase your odds, especially 2 gold dragons. Even if one is...
Pseudo-dragon?
pretending.
Okay.
We shall see how long it takes for the true polymorph to be dispelled.
Yes. That I wouldn't rely on if they realize, which they probably would quickly, that he isn't a true dragon. They will start flinging dispels at him. Rather an insult to impersonate a dragon, if that wasn't obvious.
I hope that it lasts long enough to waste some of their resources, though, as destruction is rained down.
There are, according to our reports, a great many dragons up there. Many of them are still young, but I'm certain you know that a young dragon can be incredibly dangerous.
Laramendas nods.
You have one thing working for you. Lion's share of the dragons up there, according to what few resources I've been able to maintain in the area, are green. Meaning there's but one element to primarily worry about. But just because that's most of the dragons doesn't mean there aren't a great many still of the others. I'm told that Blue is not far behind in number, and far ahead in maturity.
Did we mention to him the plan with Elsaman?
You didn't? It
I
didn't
think
exist
that
the
was,
last time you seen him?
I think that was asking, should we?
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I was.
sorry. I apologize.
We should discuss it further, I think.
Okay.
Without a deal in place properly, it's too...
We do
In the
still
air.
have to formally actually talk to Elsaman and form a deal.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
We have different definitions of that word.
He's going to look to Kazanari again and say, "Was there else we needed to discuss with them?" She's going to refer to a ledger in her hand, dragging her finger down the sheet there. Before asking, were you able to acquire the remaining scales? That was part of your plan last we spoke.
Well, we get say what we have 3 of the 5, right? Out of character.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Wittermere's still locked away, so there are only 4 in play, and we have 3 of them, and then the 4th one's in the blue dragon's hand.
It is well that you
And
mentioned
Sure.
that.
I'll say we have 3 of the 5, and of course the one dragon is still sealed.
That is well, then all that... Wait. We gave you the blue scale.
Now we gotta tell him about the deal.
We do.
I'm gonna look at Laramandus like, you got the best memory, Laramandus.
There's
You can,
a lot of concern on both faces of the Dragonborn in front of you.
Can you please explain to him?
I, the player, am trying to decide how I want to phrase it.
I'm such a good general, just throwing this on you.
Delegating.
Delegate harder, Daddy.
Hey, I'm sorry,
Why?
it's true. You got the most eidetic memory, you know.
He even paid for it.
It's such a good feat. It has been very
What?
useful. Well, in given the amount of roleplay stuff that happens for us, it has been a very good feat.
Yep.
I think Marimendus will. Given the slip, there is no reason not to be not to be blatant
Forthcoming.
with them. So he will say, when we sought the green scale, both it and the red were in the possession of... I am trying to remember the name of the dragon.
Shall I tell
Azurite.
you? There you go. I'm like, if I give you a second, I think you'll come up with it.
That was me, why I started to slow down my statement, because it was like it's very blue dragon name.
It's very... I tried to make them all memorable, easy names.
There were so many dragons in the possession of the blue dragon Azurite. Only way that we were going to get the other 2 was by
Destroying the blue dragon
Yes.
Azurite.
that was not feasible at the time.
There were 2 other dragons with him.
Which, did we get their names? I think we got their names.
You did.
I'm not gonna get those ones.
Damn. I can remember part of one of them, but I don't want to... a second. Yeah, Armashal and Indrix. They were both green dragons.
Adrai was working with Armashal and Indrix, green dragons, and between the three of them, there was not much that we could do.
That is most troubling to hear. And so you lost the blue scale to them, but gained the red and green in exchange for your lives.
Yes. And Slermundus didn't they say, or he say, they say that they don't really care for what's going on? Something along that lines?
Is
I
that
didn't want to
out
answer.
loud or over the bond?
That's out loud.
I'm trying to remember what exactly you are referring to.
So I thought because we were almost getting favor with the blue dragons, at least to where it's almost in the sense they won't participate in the fight, even though they're there. Thought there was something like that. I might be misremembering.
That's on the bond, right? This discussion, Yuki?
Sorry, say it again.
You're saying this to him over the bond?
No, I think I would have said it out loud because it was something that happened. We were already telling him what happened anyways, so I feel I would have said, because I honestly don't remember, and I'm gonna play my character as he doesn't quite remember.
So that was out loud.
Yeah, that was
Larminus would say,
There are pained expressions on these two Dragonborn's faces.
Larminus would say, Azurai implied that Elsamonth wants very little to do with his siblings and their continued existence. Our main effort was to be able to eliminate as many of the dragons as possible, and perhaps give information that might be able to be used by others further down the line to finish things.
Yeah, it was part of us trying to make the best of a worst case scenario.
There's this long silence as, the two Dragonborn are just sort of eyes closed, breathing slowly, taking this in, very clearly choosing their words. They both begin to speak simultaneously, but Kazanari is going to stop, as she always defers to her leader, as he says, "You entered into an agreement with the dragon Azurai. Do you know Azurai's relation to Elsamonth? How close they are in lineage?"
Out of character, we don't. I don't think.
I think that
Yeah, we do.
Azurai had referred to Elsamonth as a grandsire,
Yeah.
but
What were you gonna say, Vendar? Because I loved how quickly you jumped on that.
Yeah, like he said it was that we've gone over this multiple times, or that it's the Elsamonth was Azurai's granddaddy. So
Yeah,
I love.
we're
I wanted to give you the chance because, you remembered that, and I'm very proud. Yes. He told you that he was a grandchild, second generation down from Elsamonth. Or 2 generations down, is probably more clear to say.
Yes, he did state that, but it was we were in a very tight spot, and it was either probably die or agree.
You're marked.
Marked?
Dusty's shaking his head at that, but, Kazanari will sigh and say, "You are part of the dragon's horde. The dragon, Azurai, will keep an eye on you, protect his investment. This could work to your favor in many cases, but it also means you are dangerous to others."
That's understandable.
How dangerous is uncertain. It depends how much of a threat Azurai thinks anyone you interact with is to his interests. But, she says, directing her voice to Dusty, it still remains that of all the dragons one could enter into an engagement of this sort with, Blue is probably the most likely to keep their end of the bargain. Dusty will, hand over his snout, but nodding his head. Yeah, that is true according to the literature.
And that also influenced our decision, too, at the time.
It's a dangerous gamble you've entered. It's good to limit the number of dragons, ancient children of Tiamat, down as much as possible. 0, of course, would have been preferable to 1. Are you
More
certain?
likely we'll be able to succeed in the fight if Elsamith and his horde aren't a part of it.
Everything we're doing right now is a huge risk.
Yeah, and you saw the state of the soldiers. We're training them as best we can, but we don't got a lot of time. And this is a huge mountain we gotta fight, so.
Look, it's a gamble, because if what the dragon told you is true, and Elsamith truly does not wish to give up his life to revive his mother, then he has a vested interest in keeping the other dragons sealed, and could become an extraordinarily unlikely ally in the coming ages. That's the upshot. The risk is that what you've been told by this Azurai isn't true.
Or didn't come directly from
Elsamith.
Elsamith directly.
Well, it didn't come directly from Elsamith, at least not to you. Elsamith wasn't there. You entered into an agreement with Azurai. Azurai is the only dragon that is part of your bargain. That's not going to change. Not now, not in the past, and certainly not in the future. Even once this thing is seen through, you will still belong to Azurai, not Elsamith. Which means the other risk that I see is that Azurai wants to make a play for power in the Blue Broods, and seeks to use what resources he has against his grandsire. You are one of his resources now. So, whatever alliance you might work out with the ancient terror that is Elsamith could be damaged by Azurai if he gets too ambitious, as blue dragons are known to do. You can see that Dusty is kind of on this doom spiral, seeing all of the possible ways this can blow up in your face. And you see that Kazanari is aware of it too. very willing to let her leader do his thing, in most cases, be a leader and not try to undermine him. She has let him go this far, but at this point she is going to put a hand to his shoulder and say, "We must trust in the heroes that they made the right choice. That is why they were chosen by the gods, and not you or I, sir." At which point, Dusty will fall silent as his eyes, locked on the ground, but tracking back and forth as many thoughts very clearly roll through his head. Before he finally raises a hand, as if to forestall someone else speaking, though no one is, and says, You're right. Thank you, Kazanari. Then that is the size of things. You have the means to stop 3 of the 4 dragons, and the ability to potentially work with the final one. You're confident that you can make this all go your way with some effort?
Oh, yep. And if the blue dragons are up to no good after, then we will address that as it happens.
Deal with one crisis at a time.
Yes. Kazanari will again, but she will address you this time and say, "Be sure to keep allies close in the coming days, and especially after the fight. You're marked. You're part of Azurai's horde. You won't be able to raise sword or axe against him easily. Blue dragons are particularly good at controlling their wealth. And they're very savvy." She's going to, nudge Dusty, who says, "We remain your stalwart allies. Lean on us as you need to."
Your assistance has always been appreciated.
As has yours. Our mission may have been entirely failed, were it not for your intervention back in Tuka. And your continued commitment beyond then. At the risk of sounding overly sentimental, he says slowly, and you see his eyes roll toward Kazanari, who nods him on. It is our shared belief that you have well earned your chosen moniker, the Voice of Change. A great many things are changing because of you, and it would be wrong for me not to acknowledge that many of those are for the better. The world needs heroes. Thank you for stepping up. All of you. He seems uncomfortable being so candid. I'll remind the party that he's in his 50s.
I think Laramandus will say, any positive change that we've been able to enact has also been in large part to the people who have given us guidance and assistance, and as I said before, it is greatly appreciated. And he'll be, making eye contact with Dusty as he's saying that.
And there's a lot of emotions kind of playing behind the reptilian mask. you've gotten very good at reading them over your months spent around these at least 2 other Dragonborn. One is definitely, just sort of this self-deprecated embarrassment. Just like, this is mushy in his opinion. Like, he doesn't feel the
What is earnest.
He's forthright, but like, he's part of that generation who doesn't think it needs to be acknowledged. Like, anything beyond, hey, good job
Just
is
on the shoulder. Nice.
Just
walk away.
Yeah, exactly. He's that kind of person, and you can tell that it has been through encouragement by Kazanari that he is being as candid as he is.
I will say, that point from out of character, that point from Kazanari is one of the reasons that Armendo's responded in the way that he did. You kind of, see, like, he tries to replace all of these emotions he doesn't like with one he's more familiar with, and anger kind of bubbles to the surface, and you just see him shaking his head and twisting toward Kazanari and says, Crunch is never gonna let me hear the end of this. Do we have to tell him? Kazanari just sort of smirks at him and says, It will be a good story for his kid. Everyone needs a hero. Alright, go get your army ready. We're going to go talk to the Tritons for you. Is it safe to go back in the water? The animals are going about their business as normal, so it is as safe as the water can be, I suppose.
Okay. The crab seemed to really want to attack us. And I saw a shark and a big sea turtle. And I've honestly never seen a sea turtle attack until today.
It is a very useful item for a coastal area, I suppose.
He's going to kind of look toward where there was once a city, and now a bare handful of buildings remains in any amount, any level of intact.
Perhaps not useful for dragons.
He's gonna look back and say, we must avenge places like this. Stop the dragons so that they can be... he looks again a little annoyed toward Kazanari. I suppose not what they once were, but better. And you see her nodding at him, like, approvingly. We'll see you shortly, adventurers.
We will go and speak to the officers and make sure that things are orderly when we're able to speak next.
They wave to you from the edge of the beach, and then you see them reach back and pull hoods up over their heads, these black cloaks flowing down their back. And again, as before, these hoods, as they come up and cover their heads, you see these floppy little extensions on them, again, like rabbit ears. And they step, climb down the rocks and into the water and disappear beneath the waves without even taking a breath.
I love the Cloak of the Manta.
It's so good.
It's just very fun.
It's goofy looking, but it's so useful.
Exactly what magic items should be.
Goofy looking, but useful.
Just every time you use it, you're like, God damn it. I look like an idiot. At least everyone who could judge me about it is dead.
Let's hear their criticism keep up with my 60-foot swim speed.
I guess they'll just have to complain to the Raven Queen.
Raven Queen's like, I lost the complaint box. I don't know where it went. I think a Shadarkai took it. Oh darn. So.
But ma'am, you told me go. Okay. Sorry. Yes, back to this.
Your time is yours. Your other lieutenants general have seen to the wounds of the soldiers and have been keeping them company while they recover emotionally from the trauma.
Over the bond, so that the people who were, more distant from the conversation can be aware. Laraminis will say, Kazanari and Dusty are going to be speaking to the Tritons, who will hopefully be coming up to meet with people from the army. We're hoping for an amicable meeting, and we're hoping to be able to take them with us when we teleport, so that we can have their assistance in the coming fight. We should go and speak to officers to make sure things are in a good order.
Yep, I agree.
Very well.
Okay, if I go back to what I was doing, me and Jabur were kind of in the middle of stuff when this all happened.
I think that you should be able to go back to your work.
As you approach having this telepathic conversation, the soldiers in the area here are going to begin applauding. Small cheers. There's only 6 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 of them. But, they hoot, holler, and whistle, and as you get close enough, they say, kind of a jumbled mass of talking over each other, but you get the gist is, thank you, Lieutenants General, for saving us, for helping us, and, it's kind of general chatter about how scary and powerful a lot of you are.
And I'm gonna, telepathic real quick. I want to give him the business. Should I give him the business? So everyone,
I don't know if that or words of encouragement or something are better suited to their state. Laramentis isn't good with people. So he doesn't know what would be the best approach for what happened with these people and what we want from them about it.
I want to say the Dragonborns and we're a tough love group because living in the desert,
Okay. Yeah, I'm not saying that as a way to stop you from doing. I'm just you're welcome to do whatever you want.
I'm glad, so I'm speaking out loud, Tris. I am glad everyone is okay. But
Woo!
If you think that is hard, you need to imagine what things are going to be against Dragon. And this is nothing compared to that.
Woo!
Though, I feel you guys have improved, but I want us to put forth more effort.
Woo!
There's one person.
There's one person. Like, there's other people giving him the eye, like, not the time, buddy.
We need to train more. Woo!
You guys are good. Woo! We need to train more. Woo!
But I don't want you to... Or, no, actually, hold on. But again, I am glad everyone is okay. Why don't we pick up and we got to move back to the camp?
They're going to, like, quickly salute, feet together, back straight, salute, and get a crisp, sir, yes, sir, for once not a jumble of words.
Alright, let's move out.
And they march with you. Whoop. Whee. Are you going back to the inn, or are you dumping them at camp?
We dumping them at camp because we got to go. We got to go communicate to people. So we got to find all our officers and stuff and apprise them of the situation of that they're going to be meeting the Tridents and whatnot, and that probably also slowly or a little bit briefly divulge the increasing training.
All right. So, you drop them at the bivouac where they can rest. You see that many other soldiers are still either sleeping or just like slowly and very groggily getting around.
Oh yeah, that was early morning, right?
I mean, early-ish. It was regular morning, but they all got super inebriated last night.
Do a little fight better when they're not hungover.
So I guess are Jebel and Vendar allowed to go back to potion making? Or do you need them with you for this? Since that question has been answered.
Well, probably because Kazanari and them are going to be back in like an hour-ish. I think they should be present with that. At least because showing a united front with all the officers and me. So, I'm going to say, if they voice that they want to go back, I'll be like, let's hold up until after everyone meets up.
It might be prudent to put things in a more stable long-term state and then step away since they'd rushed away quickly.
Okay. So, tell me what you would like to do, who you would like to talk to.
Well, first off, probably get a hold of Thandros.
Alright.
And get him apprised of everything what's going on.
Alright, let's start there then. You head back to the inn. Alright, and he's there breakfasting. Breaking that fast. He sees you all entering, and, bids you approach his table, waves you over, and around a mouthful of eggs, says, General! Lieutenant General! Good morning. What can I do for you?
You missed a little bit of fun,
I imagine that people will tell me that my time in my father's army caused me to miss a great deal of fun. But to what do you refer?
We had a confrontation with merfolk on the beach.
Oh.
And we ended up meeting up with Kazanari and insert name here.
Dusty.
Dusty.
I don't think that Thandros knows who Dusty and Kazanari are.
But I'll mention it.
No, I'm actually saying that out of character. Does anyone remember if you guys have talked to him about those particular Platinum Sentinels?
Did we tell Kazanari and them about this when Tatsuya's army's leaving and all that? Wouldn't they know?
They know who Thandros is. I don't think Thandros knows who they are. They didn't learn that stuff from you. The last scene where they kept telling you things about the army was mostly to show off that they had been spying on the army.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. They were there after the Kraken, right? Did they meet him then?
No, I don't think so, because they kept their presence very, very secret. Using a bunch of sendings to Laramendis, which were being interrupted by the fact that they had the scale with them.
So I'm going to mention their names. If he isn't appraised of it, he can or express his unfamiliarity.
Yes, I don't remember you discussing those two with him specifically. And Sam hasn't corrected me, though. He might have gone off to do the cat. So we're gonna go with... he doesn't know who they are specifically.
Or forgot.
Sure.
If Sam comes back and does say, "Oh, hey," they are two acquaintances that are part of the group that originally guarded the scales. Wait, yeah, we told. Yeah.
I think he has a vague notion of who the Platinum Sentinels are. I think that you would have discussed that in general with him.
We told him the plan of sealing versus killing Tiamat, so...
Yeah.
So he knows we have the scale. He knows Tatsuya had us go look for the scales.
Yes.
So, yeah, they were the original holders of the scales. And, well, I should say guardians of the scales. And they have come to assist us.
Okay.
And they...
But what did they... But that you said the Tritons attacked.
Yes, the Tritons wanted to... Them motivating the Tritons to assist us, they wanted to test our mettle. So...
The Tritons seem to think a little bit differently than us, but they're potential allies. So.
I see. And so this was a test to see if they would want to join us.
Yes.
Okay. Did we pass?
I believe we will get the results once Kazanari and Dusty get back from finishing talks with them after this engagement.
Well, fingers crossed.
So that
then.
is what brings me here now. I would like to inform people and get people together to meet with them so that there isn't anyone freaking out that a bunch of merc are coming at us, you know? Or an army is possibly... We're going to possibly... We should be meeting with them here in about an hour.
With the Tritons?
Yes.
On land?
Yes.
How many?
That I cannot say.
Yeah, we should probably announce that. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. We can arrange that, just as we did for your announcement last night. Oh my god, everyone's still drunk.
Yeah, that's another reason why we need to make sure we appraise people, because we don't need people just freaking out.
They're gonna make such a bad impression. They're gonna be hungover.
Yeah, we see. Actually, do we know of any means, guys, to like kind of sprue or like give a little jump in these guys' step after drinking?
I mean, Raiken can just make them not drunk anymore, but I don't think he has enough to make everybody not drunk anymore. That'd be a lot of healing points.
Can only do that like 11 times, right?
Yeah.
Mermaid, can't you, or well, Mermaid, yes, say, can't you like make his magic go AoE or something? Like, come on.
My arcane magic does not mingle with divine magic in that way.
Oh, that's unfortunate. You sure you can't AoE this, there, Raiken? Make it bigger? Do a big group at once?
It's literally called lay on hands. I have to touch people.
What if they're all touching each other?
It's a big old chain.
I don't think it works that way either.
Well, I don't know much about magic, or I'm not as versed in magic as everyone else, so
Yukikaze,
Yes.
you have lay on hands.
Yeah, but not. It's
It works
but
exactly the
because
same as his.
just because I have it doesn't mean I'm good with it.
You
I
know
I
how it-
have
Your
it.
character knows how it
know
It
works.
doesn't mean I know how it works.
It has been imprinted on your soul. You know how it works.
Okay, so it was wishful thinking. Okay.
So, but what you know is that if you spend 5 points, you can remove the effect of any single poison from somebody.
Can
So-
you mask your poison?
Well, you could vaporize an antidote and cloud the place.
I'm literally in the process of doing that if we have. Fill the whole place up with smoke.
Wild.
Just like everybody, walk through this and you won't be drunk anymore.
It was really funny when they're like, hey, can you do AoE lay on hands? I'm like, you've got the king of AoE standing over there with a poison bow.
Yeah, if we can make it so, if I can make it so that I can aerosolize an antidote just like I'm doing with the rest, and then I can do that.
How long will it take you to do that, or how long do you need to do that?
Got to experiment a little, maybe an hour or two.
I don't know, maybe an hour or two. It's what I was doing before I got interrupted.
If Jebel helps you, will it speed it up?
Not really. That was with Jebel's help.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
he was already up in there.
But, say after 2 hours, not only would you have perfected a process like that, but also manufactured enough to do what you need to do.
It'd be a good test.
Screw it, get it done, do it.
Awesome. Alright, you're gonna...
Maybe Thandros is going to speak up, and he's gonna, maybe then we can just stall the Tritons for 1 hour. If they want to show up in an hour, we'll just say get them to just vamp for a little bit.
I could talk with them, and yeah, I can probably stall a little bit. Get meet them before they meet the army.
Pebble, come on.
So over the bond, I'm going to ask. So, what connection do we have with those merfolk? Then I'm
Nothing. They're potential allies.
They're the people
Kazanari.
that Dusty and Kazanari have been negotiating with to try to come help.
I buried one of those guys alive.
I turned one into a poison blood guts, but I mean they killed some of ours too. We did res them, but I think I think they were okay with some of their men dying. Hopefully, it doesn't cause an issue.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
That's some heavy quiet.
Well, it's not like we knew that what was going on, who they were. All we knew that they were attacking our men.
Well, they do think differently than us.
Yeah, they thought that was reasonable. I think it's not unreasonable to think them accepting loss. There were acceptable losses when they decided to attack as a test.
All right. Let's assume, for the moment, that they aren't going to come on land and immediately try to slaughter our army, and that we have a chance to make an ally. What else do we need besides sober soldiers?
Getting everyone informed.
Informed, sober soldiers.
Yes.
I think informing them before they're sober is not going to be effective, General.
That is true. That is very true.
You should corral them all together so that we can easily march them all through the antidote smoke.
Okay. I can.
I will convey that because you have to do it on the bond because you fucked off already.
Yes, I was saying that over the bonds.
I will convey that to Thandros.
Very well. Yes, both Vendar and Jebel will fuck off to the mansion to,
Fuck off to the mansion.
to do their experimentation. Okay. Why don't you two give me your medicine rolls to be making potions, poisons, and you're working with explosives, so also give me Constitution saving throws. Give me 2 each.
Third bath real quick.
4 rolls.
Four, you said.
Yeah, two medicine checks and 2 Constitution saving throws. As you're intentionally blowing stuff up to try and create a smoke cloud of antidote of hangover cure.
So I had to use a mulligan. Or my inspiration, I mean.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Do remember that everybody starts each session with 1 inspiration, so you can do that freely.
Medicine, I got a 25 and a 20.
Alright.
It's better than me. I got a 15 and an 18.
Okay, alright.
And the con is just a con check, right? So
It's a con saving throw.
it's a con save. Okay. Well, that's the same. Okay. I got a 9 and a nat 20.
Okay.
I got an 18 and a 5.
So you each kind of blow yourselves up, but at different times. Which is wonderful. Let's say that each of you takes 15 damage, 10 from the one that really got you, and 5 from the one you saved on. Since it's an explosion you can see coming, Vendar, I suppose you can have it. Since there's no stipulation on the kind of attack, it just says it has to be an attack you see coming. Right? Yeah. So, 2 and 5 instead. You guys talking to Thandros about the Tritons, was there any other topic you wanted to discuss with Thandros? I'm trying to stall this out long enough for Sam to get back because I'm sure he'll have something he wants to say. But anybody else? Brother,
Oh God.
get him to give you a body for me.
No.
He must have plenty in the city.
You don't need a body right now.
Why not?
Because I'm not happy you come back to life and screw things up.
How could I possibly? There's one of me. And I won't even be in my body.
No. It's too risky. We'll sabotage something.
What is risk to a Lumos?
I mean...
It is not but challenge, brother. And challenge is to be overcome.
You were already a challenge and we overcame. We don't need to overcome you again.
Are you speaking out loud?
No.
You know it's foolish to try to deal with this without me, brother.
No, it's not.
I started this fight. I should be allowed to finish it.
No, because your way of finishing it is not the way we plan on finishing it.
I'll do it your way, probably.
I feel like that's less probably.
Ask the general if it's a good idea. I think it's his call to make.
Pretty sure Yukikaze is going to say that it's not a good idea.
Well, you didn't even ask him, so how would you know?
Because I think everyone is against bringing you back.
Look, get his attention. Wave at him. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh god. Why am I making a wisdom saving throw?
Well, wouldn't you like to know?
I know, I would like to know. Oh, let's see. I mean, alright, I'm a plus 11 my wisdom saving throw, so...
Rolls a 1.
I mean, yeah, that could be the fuck up that is needed. I'm gonna use this one. I haven't used this one in a while. Nat 20, so 31.
That's the opposite of a 1.
Hell, you have a plus 11.
You're going to feel like a weird little tingle in your fingers, like the fingertips get a little itchy. You kind of feel you need to scratch your palm. You're not sure what that's all about.
Oh, my hands are itchy all of a sudden. Are you doing this?
Doing what?
Making my hands itchy?
I don't think so. I told you to wave at Yukikaze. You know, the general.
I know, are you trying to take control of my hands or something?
I don't think I can do that. Do you think I can do that?
I hope not. You're very weird.
Is
Try to take control of me.
What'd you say?
Try to take control of me.
That sounds like a horrible suggestion.
Alright. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
And I am
Oh,
sad to have
God.
made it.
Actually,
Now
since you
it's one.
since you challenged him to try to take control of you, are you going to automatically fail it, or are you going to still resist him?
I don't know, this is gonna be interesting, but we'll see what the wisdom saving throw does.
Oh, okay, so you are going to resist him.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, because he wants to test if he can, first of all, if he actually can. Second off, if he can.
I didn't know if you said try to take control of me, meant you were opening yourself up to it.
No, Raiken's not that stupid.
Darn.
I mean, he likes the challenge, but he's not stupid enough to just be like, all right, I'm just going to fail automatically.
Okay, roll it up.
Hopefully this is enough. This is less, but it's a 23 still.
A 22?
23.
23. Alright, your nose gets a little itchy.
Alright, you can stop.
No, hold on, I think I'm starting to get the hang of this, brother. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
God damn it. Oh no, he's gonna turn into Tatsuya. That's a 26 now.
Your butt is itchy.
Okay, I want to be less itchy now. Please stop.
Get me a body.
We will get you a body after the war.
See, that's a long time from now, and I don't like that answer. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
God, Jesus Christ.
Gotta roll a 1 at some point.
Dog or something.
Okay, inspiration. I may have just rolled that one.
Well, I guess that protects you from me getting to hear goat. That's worse.
Okay, that's a 23 again. And Raiken's going to try to block him now. Just pull out, just put a wall.
Just focusing all of his mental capability on stopping this from happening.
Yeah. He's had enough of the challenge.
Itchy toes. You got pins
So
and needles in the bottoms of your feet.
So much itchiness. He feels like he needs to go take a shower.
Alright, is that Sam back?
Yes, he
Yes,
said
I
the inside of my leg itches. And I think he's meaning like the actual like inside my leg, so I can't scratch it.
Yeah, no, I mean
He's
about-
making a reference for me.
I know, but I also know he does that too, where he'll just say something and it means something else,
Yeah.
like the
I
actual
mean, like
inside of your leg.
within the meat of your leg.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, stuff right around the bone. So, I've stalled them long enough that they have not yet left this conversation with Thandros. They have only talked to him about the Tritons. I wanted to make sure everybody got to talk to Thandros about things before everyone ran off to different parts of the army again for an hour.
Okay.
And then Raiken almost got taken over by
That's where I came back.
Tatsuya.
I don't like that. I feel like we should have words about that at some point.
It's too bad you don't know what's happening.
It's true.
Yeah.
Gotta tell someone first.
You're just standing there, and Raiken is just twitching.
He just keeps scratching his palm,
Or
adjusting
his
himself, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. It's just more fidgety than normal. So, you have thrown Thandros in front of you. Did you have anything you wanted to discuss that was not the Tritons? Laramendis.
I had Yukikaze spoken with him about Fess yet?
Nope.
I remember he was going to do that
Yep.
before the fight, so that has not yet happened.
I nudged at them. I hinted at them, but that never happened.
While I was going to the bathroom, I did think about, can't forget about this.
Alright. So, would you like to lead that discussion then, Yuki?
With Laramendis, Laramendis is right by me, right?
I mean, everyone's standing here. Laramendis is next to you.
After
So if
Jumbo
you start
and
talking, you guys
Vendar.
can support each other.
Sending Vendar and except for Jebel and Vendar, which you sent away to go make hangover medicine
Yes.
For the officers.
for everyone.
That's a lot of... It's gonna be so pink.
Yeah, since you were off doing the cat, they have determined that they need to sober everyone up before they go and meet the potential allies, the Tritons, who are judging them. So they need to do that to a lot of soldiers very fast.
So we're just gonna make a buckload of Clatchune coffee.
They're
Aerosol and antidote.
they're going to emulsify a whole bunch of Clatchian coffee and then aerosolize it.
God. People have never been so sober. Thank you, Jebel.
So I'll look at you, Laramendis, and say, like, we still got to deal with. I'll be saying this to you because I want Thandros to hear. Laramendis, we need to discuss Thus with Thandros.
That should perhaps be done in a bit more privacy.
Yes, but I at least want to maybe mention that we do need to. It is a subject we need to touch upon.
Is the captain all right?
Yes. We just have to discuss some information that we have.
All right, then let's go discuss it. Let's hurry. Got so many things to do in 2 hours.
I know. Oh, that's why I'm trying to real quick determine whether I want. Well, no, it's gonna take him time to get the aerosol solution. So probably, you agree, Laramandus? Maybe we should go step away right now, or
Yes, we should go and speak within the private sanctum.
all right. So yes, Thandros, can you please join us in the private sanctum?
Yes, sure, of course.
Are you sober enough?
Am I General?
Sorry, it was a little bit of a joke to lighten the mood.
Forgive me,
failed.
General. I seem to have left my sense of humor in bed. I did not partake. The officers should not drink with their soldiers, I think.
Oh, good. All right. Yes. Let's proceed.
I agree. I stay sober as well.
Thandros will look down at tiny little Leah, and he'll, like, there's some hesitation, but eventually he plasters on a smile and nods at her, like, I'm proud of you, good.
Just a bit of, I'm glad the child did not get smashed.
he definitely, there was a moment where it looked like he might say something lecturous like that. That's a terrible word. Remind me never to use that one again.
After
what
months
word?
with these guys, Leah feels like she's very much an adult. So
We don't really treat you like a kid.
All right. So, we're proceeding to the private sanctum.
Yep.
Yep, we are in the private sanctum.
So, General, what has become of the captain? Why do you need to discuss him with me?
He has left or has gone somewhere in secret with a bunch of documents from General Tatsuya.
He's AWOL.
It seems so.
It is so. The Lerman says over the bond.
Well, then say it out loud. I'll say in the bond.
You want me to directly contradict you?
Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah, well, because I don't, I say it that way because, I only know him so much, and, I didn't feel that, I was putting trust in him, so.
You guys over there mixing your potions are being bombarded with this telepathic argument.
No, I'm saying this part out loud.
It's a thing for just from telepathically they're doing the motion and then they hear from nothing. It is so.
Well, but I would have kind of reacted to my own statement, and
Then
that's where
say
I
it out
elaborate.
loud.
What?
Oh yeah, it is so. Say it out loud. That's what they get telepathically.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you confused me there for a minute.
Mm-hmm. So, do we believe he's defected?
What we do know is that he has the documents. Laramandus attempted to ascertain his location and scry upon him, and he was blocked.
Blocked by who?
By someone else. We do not know.
The companions that he is currently consorting with did not seem keen to allow his position to be scryed upon. And he has reason to believe that it would have been me doing the scrying. So...
Do you have any knowledge of with whom he travels?
Not at the moment.
But it was not he who blocked your attempt to find him.
I'm trying to remember. From the moment that I was scrying, it did not appear that he was the one who cast the dispel.
It did not appear that way.
Okay. Unless he is more capable of magic than I expect, it seems that it was not him that dispelled the scrying sensor. But at the moment, I cannot fully rule it out.
And this information he stole away with? How compromising is it?
That we're unsure of because Lerman is.
I think Lerman is just about to answer. There was information regarding persons and places of interest from former General Tatsuya. Not only was information taken, but the more documents that were left here were obfuscated to prevent us from likely using the information for the good of the army.
He's going to seem to chew on this for a second before he says, "But everyone in the army knows that General Tatsuya was reassigned by Bahamut's will. Anything of import like that would have been sent with him or been transferred to you."
We had the documents.
He obtained them from you.
Thess and I were going over them together. I thought his experience would prove useful in collating the information.
Was he aware of how you obtained them?
From the wardrobe in former General Tatsuya's room?
I meant the truth of how you obtained them.
Out of character.
Mm. Am I saying something wrong?
Did we... So...
You didn't read him in originally so that he would have deniability, but he's not an idiot.
Yeah.
He can still say he does not know, and that he was never told, without lying.
Yeah.
But he can surmise.
Okay. So what I was trying to get at was if we had told him, or if he's...
I believe you have never been
assumptions.
direct with him, so that is, you can take that as why, an assumption as to why he is saying it the way he is.
Yeah, we never told him. I asked that before.
Yeah.
And I was told, the whole thing was this.
So he was never read in, but he clearly assumes something more, nefarious has taken place. He just doesn't want it confirmed. However, he is reaching outside of that box, not for confirmation, but just to see if Thess knows more than he's been told.
Answer that then. That lines up with not wanting to.
You could say, if you want my suggestion, being that your character is very smart, and while not a people person, is very good at compartmentalizing information, you could say something like, Thess was made aware of Bahamut's plan, of the details of Bahamut's needs. Something that does not give away your involvement, but lets him know directly that, he can continue to assume whatever he wants. Thess knew something more.
Yeah. That seems reasonable. Because Lerman does want to continue giving
Him
Thandros plausible deniability.
Yes.
Or the
That's
barest...
the term I was looking for.
The barest, veneer of plausible deniability.
Yeah. I believe saying it that way will protect that.
Yeah. So, Larminus will then say, he was made aware of the extent of Bahamut's plans.
He's going to nod and say, I had not realized that Captain Thess had ingratiated himself to Bahamut so dearly. Was there some shared history that he never shared with me? I had only met him for the first time here.
Interesting.
Interesting.
He made claims to your longer relationship than that.
With me?
Voice in the Sky, correct me if
No,
I'm
you are
getting
correct.
wrong.
He seems
cool.
genuinely shocked by this revelation.
Yes, with you.
He's going to... You see the Matrix behind his eyes. And his expression falls as all of these possibilities, like explanations for any of those are coming together. He was incredibly devoted to Tatsuya.
I see.
If he disagreed with Bahamut's determinations, he might take matters into his hands, and such a connection to a trusted ally of the cause would open doors. Lieutenant General. Did that connection open doors?
So, my mind is going to teleporting. I don't know if that's what he's getting.
He's not getting at that.
I love when people speak in code and then you're just like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. We're talking about the same thing now.
My decoder ring is broken.
Buy more oval. What?
Got it in a Cracker-Jack box. No, he is... This is as close as he's ever come to breaching that veneer of plausible deniability, and is asking you in as direct terms as he feels comfortable doing, did Coffers telling you that he knew Thandros on a personal level build trust in you?
It did?
We have a problem, Lieutenant General.
I think that is an accurate statement.
I trust that you have already been exploring methods of returning our AWOL soldier to the fold.
The soonest that we can execute a more thorough plan is tomorrow, after I'm able to shift around my spells.
I have a thought of where he might be.
We can confirm that with other magics that I am capable of casting today.
If we discuss this, I will not be able to face a zone of truth. Are we prepared to lose that advantage?
If we feel it is necessary, Wish is able to replicate lower level spells.
I think I
For
understand.
For example, Thandros says, I think I understand. Larminus will be like, yes. Very good.
If my information can help expedite the correction of the current course history seems to be attempting to take, I would be willing.
I think when Laramendus says that, though, he does look at the rest of the party.
Going to inform.
I think Vendar is not here.
Vendar's not here. Are you going to inform Vendar of what his brother's agreeing to?
I think Laramendus will. So over the bond, Laramendus will say, Vendar, I think that you should be informed. We have learned more of Fess's deceptions from your brother, who might be able to point us to the direction that he could be found. Doing so will compromise his plausible deniability, and so will put him in a position where we likely want to modify his memory. He has consented to this if we deem it necessary. Do you object? And Laramendus will say that Laramendus will say out loud to Thandros, I am informing Vendar of what's going on here.
He should know.
Jebel will just telepath back. Why don't you just make a simulacrum of him and ask the simulacrum the questions? That way, he won't be
Devious.
That's Jebel. That's
smart.
evil.
That's clever.
I would want him to be like, wow, Jebel.
I think Laramendus's eyes just light up.
You guys are too powerful.
This is terrifying. And he says, before we have further discussions around that, Jebel has mentioned a possibility. Simulacra are wonderful things. They let you be in multiple places at once, let other people who are talking with you gain the benefit of your wisdom.
We've seen them. They've seen them in action, haven't they? Because Cyrus.
I think Laramendus is talking around things
He is.
purposefully.
Dispel it once you have what you need.
Certainly.
He seems to pick up on these things quickly. He's led a lot of people.
I guess I have to use my...
He spent several days having to be present in the presence of the uncanny stares of your simulacra.
He's even on the approved user list.
He is. I think he's been informed of that. Yes, he has. I don't think he's super comfortable on it.
You can tell them what to do. No.
I literally cannot. They outrank me.
So I think Laramendus over the bond will say, barring any objections from anyone else, and with Thandros' consent, I'm going to make a simulacra of him so that we can gain the information that we need.
It's a good thing you asked over the bond. Jabba was listening to that idea.
Yeah.
Might
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Might want to get a spare pair of pants.
I have questions that I want to figure out. Because I remember we were discussing about casting Detect Thoughts on the illusory
Yes.
test. And I said it wouldn't
Which
work.
we determined wouldn't work.
But did we determine that in character or out of character?
That still needs further discussion. We really haven't talked about all of the corner cases on that yet. So we're going to operate for now like it does not, but we're going to circle back to it.
No, I mean, I get that it wouldn't work, but the discussion about how it wouldn't work, was that an in-character understanding or an out-of-character understanding?
I think Laramendus would probably have a reasonable understanding of if that would function or not, given his understanding of the spell that he's created and just magic as a whole.
So, and when Jebel put forward the idea of reading the mind,
Mhm.
Larmendus would just have said, no, that won't work because he's not a real
So I think
person, he's
Laramenus
just
would have
human.
said whatever out of game when we sit down to talk about it, we come to the conclusion of. I think it's not a thing that we would need to experiment with. I think it's just a thing that we haven't fully answered yet. So I think the party has the answer.
Yeah, well, just on a similar thing, I'm going. Just reminded me that I had this question. So Jebel will telepath. Just Larmendus, you remember that whole thing about not being able to read the mind of illusions?
Yes.
Can illusions read the minds of illusions?
I think that if somebody in the illusion was reading the mind of the person at the time that we're looking back at, they would still be reading their mind. But I don't know that they would be able to glean different information out of character.
If
So,
it were to work, they exist. The simulations, the creations of your spell seem to be aware of things that were true at the time they were there. They know the things they knew then, which is why you can question them. So if a simulation, one of your illusions, could be convinced to use a resource they would have had at the time on another illusion, it could potentially be a workaround. A very weird one, but I'll reward the out-of-the-box thinking.
where are you going with this, though?
No, it's when we were wondering if we could read the mind of Thess.
Yeah.
If we created, because we can't create the mansion because, as you said, different mansion. But if we create the moment he left the mansion, I'm sure someone was in the room here who can cast detect thoughts.
Somebody is now in the room, but there was not somebody who could cast detect thoughts when he left the mansion. We were all outside the inn.
Yeah, he did all that while the army was getting drunk and you were mingling with them. But there was still a time proximal to that where Laramenus and the real Thess were in the same room at the same time, and that would be inside the illusion. So, cast the spell back to that time when you had cast the spell back to that other time, and he snuck into the illusion and pretended to be the illusion of himself, and then convince yourself to read his mind.
Yeah, create the illusion of the illusion and just collapse reality.
This is so wild.
I mean, for an easier time of that, we could cast it for when Laramenus was about to go into the mansion with him.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
true.
less, like, brainfucky fun, but that means fewer questions about what happens if you cast it on a place that had it cast before, but for a different time, like all the weird things that are going to happen. From
You just get
this spell in the
you just
future.
get untextured area, like it can't load it.
All
The
the switching.
skybox is real.
It's a big error.
You'll have like the illusory real Thess, and he looks normal, and then you'll have the illusory Thess, and he's just
He's,
all sorts of messed
he's
up.
literally textured
He's
with the
made of
Windows
polygons.
BSOD.
He's
But
operating
yes,
at like 12 frames a second.
we could attempt to do that. I think that I would be able to convince myself to detect thoughts on him. Are we proposing that instead of a simulacra of Thandros?
Well, whichever you think is.
We can do both.
Then why not both?
All right then. So I think we can do the simulacrum first. So Thandros can be on his way. Were there any other objections to this?
No, I'm fine with it.
Vendar?
I had no problem with that.
Okay. I do think that how similar builds. Who has the most similar build to Thandros?
Your party has no humans.
It is not an inaccurate statement.
Anymore.
Anymore.
That's a once human dragonborn.
Yeah. Vendar, you know, matched him DNA-wise. Thandros was always more built than Vendar. Vendar was lithe power, and Thandros was more like, you know, if not brick wall, pretty well boarded up wall power.
Yeah, we're not very similar.
He was that classic stoic knight kind of guy.
Basically, I just want clothes on Simulacrum Thandros because I think Thandros.
Grab it
would
from a
appreciate
Dragonborn, they'll
that.
be drapey.
Okay, cool.
I didn't know that's what you were asking about. I was confused.
Oh yeah. Before I cast the Laramandus will say, before I cast the spell, Raiken, could you get out a spare pair of clothes for Simulacrum Thandros to wear for the brief moments that he is with us?
Sure. Raiken, I guess we'll go. Assuming he's going to one of the trunks to pull out some clothes.
Yeah, you can go grab some of your comfy clothes and throw them at Thandros.
Alright.
Or Laramandus, whoever. Whoever you feel most comfortable throwing things at.
Probably Laramandus.
Okay.
Dexterity saving throw.
The good news, Laramandus, is that
It's a 2 on
lizards
die.
don't sweat, so the clothes are, you know, not awful. But they do just whap you in the face and become wrapped around your head momentarily.
Yeah. They're also, they seem not very itchy, but Raiken is scratching quite a bit.
You don't see any
later.
lice on it. You remember that scale lice do exist.
Oh, they're the worst.
Dragonborn's worst day. You can't even drown the little bastards.
Thandros?
Wait, wouldn't we probably have mites versus lice?
I mean, I believe lights are a type of mite. Alouses.
No, probably. Yeah.
I think that it's a broad category of bugs, but yeah. Anyway, gross. So, you have clothing in 8 minutes. What do you do?
With your permission, Thandros? And Laramandus will hold up a hand.
I forget if you ever actually read him in on what your new plan is.
Oh, no, so the plan is it's the
I just don't know if it got mentioned to him. I know that you guys discussed it on the bond, and I was waiting for you to not be talking on the bond. So if you haven't told him, he would assume you were talking about modifying his memory now.
No. We did tell it because Laraminus was talking around what...
Oh, that's right. No, that's right. He said make sure you dispel it as soon as you're done with it. Yes. Okay.
I was pretty sure that we got him.
You're right. There's a lot of discussion. I'm trying to hold on to a lot of stuff. Okay.
He's been sitting there watching us, like, make faces briefly and, like, look around at each other.
Yeah. Like, your conversation happens fast, but there was a lot. You see him put on that stoic face. He frowns, but he locks eye contact with you, and then just silently nods.
Okay. Laraminus wishes into existence a simulacrum of Thandros and hands it clothes.
The guy's good looking. He seems mildly embarrassed, and quickly steps between the simulacrum and Leah, while it dresses. And then says, "I will be downstairs. Let me know when you're done."
Thank you.
And he goes downstairs.
Out of character, watch me fail to dispel this thing the first time.
It's only a 9th level spell.
So is it a 9th level spell?
Or did you wish for a 7th level spell, so it's still 7?
Well,
Rule
I
of
think
funny.
technically, per how we run things, it would be an 8th level spell. Because we've ruled wish duplicating things upcasts it to 8.
Well, but the sorcery point cost for like 20, it still is 9, so I'd think it's still a 9th level spell.
That's a good point. Okay.
I'm happy either way. Go with 9.
Yeah, I think 9 is more fair. You just need to roll an 8.
2. Fuck. Okay. Simulandros stands before you, completely bagged out in Raiken's extra clothing. He stares placidly at you.
Where do you expect Fess has gone? Laraminus, once Thandros has been out of the room,
yeah,
Laraminus is no longer treating the simulacrum it's very much just a magical construct to him.
Yeah. There's like a brief moment of consternation as the personality that you copied onto it conflicts with its constructed need to follow orders. And then it says somewhat mechanically, "It is my belief that he would seek out the army of the Empire of the Four Queens and use them against you."
Interesting.
Shit.
Do you have contacts within the army of the Empire of the Four Queens?
No. Only Tatsuya had contacted them. I was never privy to his private conversations or his resources.
Do you know of any names?
I do not. They likely would be contained in any notes or documents that Tatsuya kept, if they were not burned.
Did other people have any questions?
Jebel said he did.
Laraminus will over the bond say that.
Yes, no, I know. I was just reminding Jebel.
Well, my question was really about this, the illusion. But, I think... a bit more background information on this. Does he know anything about, like, where he came from, how long he was here?
He will turn to you. I believe that you just would have given everybody access to this thing. Yeah. He will turn to you, Jebel. No, he can't.
He can't turn to me.
You're
I'm
on the
sitting
bond. Never mind. He has to ask through you anyway.
Laraminus repeats the question.
He was one of the first acolytes of Tatsuya. He was on the island already when I came here, and most people claimed to know him well as one of the first. He was well trusted by everyone.
I convey it back over the bond. I think all of the questions and answers to C.B. Landros, Laraminus has been conveying.
Ooh. A true believer, maybe. Might have stepped in it with that one.
Yes.
Are you suggesting that there are downsides to cults? Ridiculous.
There are no downsides to cults.
This is
you're
a
in charge.
fantasy world. All sorts of just... You take perfectly normal things and you add weird aspects to them.
You're right. Fantasy cults are bad. Normal cults are fine.
Oh, no. It's fantasy cults that are fine, because it's the fantasy part that makes them fine, because it's the realistic portion.
What?
No, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Someone's drinking the Kool-Aid over here.
The delicious, refreshing food. Anything else? Number 4 queens. History. He doesn't know where he came from. Like, he doesn't know...
Oh, where he came from?
Yeah, like, does anyone know who he was before he came here?
He had stories about Sudarin and Thanandir. It was believed, through his own stories, that he had traveled much of Amaranta, seeking fortune and glory, but when he encountered Tatsuya, found calling, meaning.
Oh, yeah.
You know him to be capable of magic.
I do not. He may be capable. I know little. But I have never seen him perform it. Magical aspects of his stories were always underexplained, but overperformed. And so... most would not have believed him in fact capable of magic. It could have been a ruse. I'm just going to expedite things by letting him extrapolate.
Yeah.
We are over time, though, so we can always continue this conversation next time. Does anybody have any last-minute quick questions that they're worried they'll forget between now and next time?
I'm fine, because I'm pretty tired.
Cool. Leah?
Yes, actually, there's one thing.
Okay.
Not in character, but to you.
Oh.
Because of Leah's whole collecting samples from people, did she get a chance to grab a hair from
Thandros.
Excuse
me, Thess.
Thess, yeah.
It is possible. Why don't we say that is 35% chance, so,
I can roll, maybe?
Yeah, tell me, if you get 35 or lower on a D100. Just, he's kind of slippery and always had reason to be elsewhere. Hence the lower chance.
You're not gonna believe it.
Oh, tell me.
I got 100.
Most
Impressive.
unfortunate.
Unfortunately.
That's so cool, but wrong. So no, you weren't able to get him in a situation where you could have gotten something off of him. He was too slippery.
You needed me to be below, right?
Below a 35 or lower. Yeah.
The easiest way
where's timing to get like all
Really
zeros?
high roll. I was like, I could do the math. It's 65 or higher. I didn't feel like doing that. 35 or lower. Same percent chance.
Easiest way to say is you have an X% chance of this happening, and so you just do the lower thing.
Yeah.
I see.
That's, yeah, if I'm thinking quickly, that's usually what I'll do. Like, here's a number or lower, and if I have more time to think about it, then I'll be like, yeah, tell me if you get 75 or above. 25% chance. Wish I was thinking too quickly, so I just went with the 35 or lower. So, great roll. I'm sorry. He did manage to very naturally avoid any situations where you could have gotten something off of him.
Yeah. I mean, it does make sense because of his shady nature.
Yeah, he seemed to be inexplicably, or originally inexplicably, careful about those sorts of things. Okay.
Not careful enough, because I have one of his socks.
You do have one of his socks. Maybe she could use it.
That's useful. That's useful.
Yeah.
Could be used.
Could be used. All right. We'll call it there. This is such a fascinating turn of events. I love this. This is so wild. The interpersonal relationships with your allies and everything being stressed and strained is very cool to me. So, I'm excited to continue this storyline. Thank you all for being here. I hope you all had a good time. Jebel, and who else was really making fun things happen? Say, Vendar, you made me proud today. Jebel and Vendar, you can start next session with 2 inspiration points.
2?
Yeah, so you always start with 1.
Oh,
this is how I'm awarding an extra 1 to use.
Nice. I forget that you always start with 1. I need to click on it so it's activated.
Yeah, so everybody make sure that when you come to the session, you've got an inspiration point, because you always start a session with 1, so you can choose when to use it. And if you ever used it up and go, oh man, I wish I had another one, ask me, hey, I did this cool thing, is that worth an inspiration point? And then I'll be like, yeah, I think that is. Or, it was pretty cool, but no. Okay, so yeah. Nice job, everybody. That was a lot of fun. Alright, so, until next time, on Everybody Loves Raiken! Bye, stream!
Bye.
Goodbye.